talking with Diahann Carroll, and we were talking during a break about how people, I did it the other night, I think. People will talk to you and they make a point of mentioning other black performers. They'll say, how do you like Flip Wilson or whoever? And why is that? I find myself doing it.
Oh, well, I find people are trying to find a way to identify with you. And if they live small lives or lives that don't involve black people, they try in any way that they can, you know, to make some connection.
Also, there's the assumption that you think of yourself constantly as being black, that's the only thing that's on your mind, whereas other people don't think of what color they are. And so,
well, I'm sure we do think of it more than others. And people try to... I remember when... this is a strange thing to remember at this time, but I remember when Jack Kennedy was alive, and I had the privilege of meeting him, and I rehearsed a very intense line that I was going to say, a current event, something that was very in the news, that he was a part of at that moment.
A joke or...
Oh, no, I was going to make some very profound statement. As we lined up to meet the then President of the United States, and he looked at me and he said, congratulations on your lovely wardrobe and being voted one of the best dressed women in the world. And I thought, how in the world does the President of the United States have a moment to even think about such a thing as that? And I was speechless. I never said my very well-rehearsed line. I forgot to say it completely. But his mind went immediately to clothes, and then the next person he said something very serious, and I said, oh, that means my whole life is frivolous, and it just has to do with clothes and that sort of thing. I'm sorry about that.
Gee. So, were you a poor kid?
Of course I was, yeah. There are very few of us who are wealthy. We ate.
I mean poor in the real sense of poverty.
No, not that poor. No, my dad always... we were a close family. We were a loving family. And we still are, as a matter of fact. I lived right here in New York all my life. Born and raised, born in the Bronx, Fordham Hospital. It's kind of glamorous beginning, I suppose.
Did you have dreams of someday I will have some certain thing, like an enormous car, or was that kind of thing when you...
No, I really didn't. I mean, we weren't... no, I didn't. I wanted to perform. I sang in the church choir when I was 6 years old, and I don't think it gave my parents any particular pleasure that I seemed hell-bent on going into show business. But I really think there was nothing else for me to do. I've always been a ham. I've always enjoyed performing, and I don't think anything else really fascinated me. I only entered college to make them happy, and I was a rotten student.
Were you?
Yeah.
Did you hate school, or did you just want to get to show business right away?
Yeah, I really did. I just hated it, and then I'm really kind of a dropout because it was in my way. It wasn't studying history. The only thing that interested me was psychology, and I later carried that a little further, wound up on the sofa like most people do, and, most performers do anyway, and wasted my money, as some people will say, for 9 years.
9 years in psychoanalysis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you find that unusual?
I don't know many people. I know a few people who've been in it that long, but did you have a certain goal that you wanted to... Why'd you stay in that long?
Well, it wasn't because I was having a good time, I'll tell you that. Yeah. I think it's mostly because I was an in-and-out situation. I had to travel in order to pay for my analysis and work in order to pay for my analysis. And that's why it took so long. I won't say it would have taken that long under other circumstances. But, yes, I did have a certain goal. I wanted to live more peacefully with myself, and I seemed to think that would come about by some sort of self-examination. And I think perhaps...
But you say it failed.
No, I won't say it failed totally. I think if this is where I am after 9 years of analysis, it's a little more peaceful than it was 9 years ago.
Well, you could have come here without 9 years of analysis.
I'm not sure about that, Dick. I'm really not. I think that...
Are you really?
No, You
mean to be able to come out and talk publicly, or...
Yes, I think analysis is very responsible for the fact that I'm able to do that at all. Yeah.
Gee. So it wasn't
Well, there's that dichotomy.
So you would not discourage a friend, let's say, who said, I'm going into psychoanalysis?
No, I certainly would not. I think that if you've made up your mind that it's something you'd like to have in your life, it's because you feel you need it. I wouldn't suggest it. I would never suggest it to anyone. I think that's wrong. I think it's something you have to come to on your own.
Did you have single analysis or group therapy?
I've never had group therapy. I'm chicken as far as that's concerned.
It works for a lot of people very well.
Have you ever been in analysis at all?
No.
Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah, I thought about it, but I've never felt close to going. I just thought I'm intensely curious about
It's just been
What would it be
curiosity.
like? As far as I know. Of course, an analyst would tell me that that's a defense.
It depends on how good the analyst is. But I don't think, unless you really want to be analyzed, that you can be analyzed. I don't think there's such a thing as...
Going into it for the fun.
No. If you're just a curiosity about it, because it's very hard work. And I think part of the reason that it is so expensive is so that it will be a difficult thing for you to accomplish. I mean, just paying for it alone is devastating.
And it's amazing that people still go into it in large numbers, even though it's going to hurt them.
It's not amazing.
Financially, I mean, it's going to be
If you feel that it's going to bring a positive thing, I think you will go and you will pay for it, Yeah. But
how would you have been different if I'd met you 9 years before, pre-analysis?
Can you imagine someone sitting here for 5, 7 minutes and saying nothing?
Oh, it's happened to me over and over.
Not you saying nothing, love. I mean, me saying nothing.
No, I've had people come out and say nothing for longer than that. And I'll start asking them now whether they've been in analysis or not. But is that what you would have been just a clam on me?
Yes, I probably wouldn't have had the nerve to just come out in the first place. Yeah. But once I was here, I think I would have been rather petrified to tell you anything. The fact that you were interested in me, you see, was my problem.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you be? Why would you have any interest in me was my problem. I wouldn't believe that. Does that make any sense to you? Yeah. Okay.
Gee, I'm glad you went.
Are you?
Yeah.
I am, too. I don't dare tell myself anything else. Whenever I look at the old bills, I always say, I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went.
Okay. I'll remember you now, and you'll remember me. You're going to the International in Las Vegas? Is this true or false?
No, that's...
And are you opening on February 24th, true or false?
Make a cross in the box. Yeah. I am opening at the International Hotel with Bill Cosby, and I can't wait because I think he's a...
Is he some sort of comedian?
He's some sort of comedian. He's a brilliant comedian.
Yeah, I know.
And we've never worked together, and I'm except once on my special.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that very much.
So does this mean that you're leaving here now and leaving me alone with Zero Mostel on the stage? Is that what it is?
Perhaps, because Zero has this habit of putting his hands all over ladies.
That's one way of putting it, yes.
And while I think he's a charming man, and I think his family is marvelous, I'm going to catch a plane this
Probably
night.
a good idea.
As soon as I learned Zero was going to be here, I made plans to catch a plane.
Chartered one. Hiring the plane was probably very expensive.
But I want to thank you for asking me to come on, and may I come back and see you again? And,
sure.
And we'll discuss whether I wear fur coats or something terribly important like that.
Okay, we'll discuss. It's open as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
Okay. Bye.